Okay, happy Friday. This is a video for the 7Hz 5. If you are a subscriber to my channel, go ahead and comment below. Give the video a thumbs up if you actually genuinely like the video. And qualified to get the top of the pyramid right there, which is a EW300X HBB. This is another project that went a long time. The first Cymbals collab kind of fell away because of the LM became existing at around the same time, and it became, what's the point of having a B-level version of something you're already releasing? So pulled the plug on that and then went in another direction. So good luck to you. As a proof of concept, this was just posted just a couple minutes ago. This is the pre-final version of the XHBB Deuces, and this is going to at Kenny Jandrew 1758. So hopefully you've got notifications turned on the unboxing channel, which is this one right here, if you guys aren't familiar with it. There's only 4,100 subscribers, but there's a lot more on the main channel. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I appreciate it. And also you'd be getting the heads up on if you won something. You got 7 days to get in touch with me. I take more time than that to send stuff sometimes, so sorry about that. Now, moving along and getting into this set, let me go ahead and we're on Linsel now. Oh, Zgat XJ's audio, Estrella 2DD 4BA hybrid IM. This is I didn't expect to see this. I guess this was released today or yesterday. I will do a video and give opinions on it whenever it is sent to me. It's not currently in my possession. The set that I'm looking for is, it's been around for a while. I didn't give impressions, and you'll kind of get it. Here we go. $149. 5 dynamic drivers. And it has a tuning that is what, if you've ever heard the term V-shaped tuning, they're talking about the letter V, and the middle of the V is what's important here, because there's not really anything there. It's just a termination point where something changes directions. That means the mids, and there's not really anything there. Whereas U tuning is implying that there would be more mids, because the bottom of a U has got there's some area there going horizontally. This would be V-shaped tuning. It has a lot on the left side in the bass and the mid bass, and it has a lot on the right side in the upper mids and in the treble. Treble is pretty typical. Upper mids are quite exaggerated. This is a niche in a niche type of tuning. This will fit certain things and a lot of other things it won't. Let's go ahead and talk about music. I'll rank this at the end of the video. For bass, Big Boy Killjill, the triple drop, the lowest being at 38 Hertz. This is a bassy set. However, I got to point out that micro drivers aren't the same as, if you had 5 10 millid, you couldn't do that, but if you did, this would be something different. This is it's not as bassy as the graph indicates, is what I'm trying to say, because the drivers and what they can do is like the Belon Mini and other micro drivers, they don't put out as much bass as the graphs imply. So if you think, wow, that's a super bassy set, that's not my cup of tea, I would say, hold up, that's not quite as bassy as that graph indicates. Not really at all. And it comes down to the transducers. It's not really, I don't even think it's a bass headset. If someone said, oh, that's bass head, I don't really think so. This has a limit to how much it will actually slam. So the Big Boy Killjill, it does it, and it is emphasized, but it's really not as potent as you might think it is. So ask some reviewers specifically. For this reviewer, it's not something I would grab if I wanted to listen to my hip-hop library. You'd look at it, think maybe, actually no. As we get into the 4 and 5 string bass guitar, the pulls, the plucks, the releases, the snapping, the ringing of the strings, this is a set that takes that instrument, and it's not a natural replay. Part of it is emphasized, and another part of it is overly emphasized, and it impacts the quality of that instrument. It's probably not ideal for vocal centric like rock and roll, where you've got the backing, the rhythm section of drums and bass guitar pinning down the rhythm section behind a vocalist, 1 or 2 or more, and the rest of the group. The kick drum, Bonham's kick drum from the iconic 4th album, is actually probably of the three things, the 808 Roland, the bass guitar, and the kick drum. I'd say the kick drum is the most impressive of the three. It sounds emphasized and potent, actually. So this does the kick drum well. As we move into vocals, we're getting to where this type of tuning can really become everything's being flat, and like I just showed with the recent review, which was for the $850 Carmen, that really pushes nothing out. Nothing sounds stepping out, which is kind of a problem itself, but it's safe. Safe is a good word there. This is the opposite of safe. I guess that's called unsafe. This is taking vocals and elevating a lot of the fundamentals. Really, the fundamentals end around 1.5K. So a majority of the fundamentals of male and female vocals are being lifted. That's going to give a husk and a warmth, heat up fundamentals, particularly on female vocals. And then on the other side, you've got a very high gain. It's the whole upper mids is elevated, and that's going to take the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth order harmonics of male and female vocals and push them kind of forward in an odd sense because of the way that it's done. It's common to V-shaped sets. You're going to hear the vocals. They're not going to probably sound what you're used to. Saying what you would prefer, I'm only speaking to what I prefer. This wouldn't be it. As we move into the overtones, which is the residual z of the harmonic fundamental event, which is really most of it. Remember, this is a compressed graph. To this point right here, which is about 55% of the graph, is 1 kilohertz, and then the other 45% is 19,000 kilohertz. So 19,000 on one side and 1 on the other. So this is a very compressed area, but there's actually a lot of info between, let's say, 1.5 and 6 kilohertz. That's about 5,000 hertz, which is 5 times as much info as this is giving as far as actual. The compression of these graphs is done in such a way. There's a lot of information there, and there's a lot of it related to the overtones of guitars, whether they're electric or they're acoustic, pianos, or electric plugged-in versions, which are called keyboards, cymbals, crashes, and rides. They're all exaggerated because of the way that this tuning is, and a lot more of it exists where it's boosted than where it's falling away. The amount of information that actually exists, 13 to 20K, in my experience using lossless files, is most up on the scale with classical music. If you have something that's falling off at 8, 10K, that's really not going to impact a lot of stuff unless you really focus and listen to classical music a lot. Then it will. So this is actually pretty typical around 8K. I have to say also that the 711 clone mics, you should really usually take 10 kilohertz and beyond and not put too much into it because it's not very accurate. And the same for below 20 to 10 hertz. It's not very accurate. So on both sides, these graphs on 711s are like MP3 files where they're lopped off on the top and bottom end. These graphs are literally the same thing, or at least they're not very accurate. The problem with this set is that energy that it's being shown from the ear gain all the way up to 8K, which has got so much information in a library like mine, is just too much. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on a scale. Is it a dumpster fire? No. I used this set when I moved to a new home. I won't get into this. Anyway, I used this set while I was out walking around, and I actually kind of liked it in the outside walking around. I'm paying attention to cars and stuff. I didn't have a tight seal intentionally because I wanted to have situational awareness. I didn't want to get struck by a vehicle. I kind of enjoyed this. Sitting at the table and critically listening. Some people think that's a meme. No. Sitting and focusing on something repeatedly that's 15 to 5 seconds long and listening to it 20 to 50 times because you just get into like a mental loop, which might be OCD related or it might be an autism Asperger's thing. I don't know if other people do that, but I do it all the time. That is very different from taking a walk of about a mile and hoping not to get hit by a car and kind of enjoying the music on the way. Two different events totally. One, I'm just enjoying the music, and I thought these were I was okay. So it's not a dumpster fire. And then sitting down at this table and listening to my playlist. Very different experiences. Hope it was free. $150. Again, if you got it for free, congrats to you. Coping is working. I guess the way that I'm speaking right now, and just talked about how I took a walk with it and liked it, but in every other scenario I didn't, I guess I'm coping. So I would say the coping is working. Competes with its peers at $150 is very tough. It's very tough. I'd buy it. I'll just leave it where it is, and I'll say coping is working. Competes with its peers, I think, is a little bit too much of a reach. I think that micro drivers have a place, and I don't think that they are in the bass. I think that micro drivers are best implemented for, like the Sony Z1R, which is how many years old now. They used micro tweeter, which I love. I love the Z1R, and I love that part of it, and it's even kind of boosted, but it doesn't have that digital metal sound that a lot of BAs have when they're boosted in the same area that the Z1R is boosted. That DD in that area is actually doing stuff. And the large driver is a full range driver, so it's getting some DD work from two different drivers in the Z1R. I think micro drivers are best suited for upper mids and treble, and not so much for the low end. Like 10 millimeter plus 2 6s, like I think that would work. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I've got to disclose something so it doesn't come out later and I feel like I was misleading people. This is a 7 hertz, it's in my hand, and it's a 2DD set. And I'm giving lots of feedback over a period of time regarding its tuning. So if this comes up later and someone says, oh, that's why I didn't like it. No, it's not my thing. I think the graph kind of implies why it isn't, and it matches previous reviews that are similar to this, and how actually I was harsher to those. Maybe that's because of this. So if you feel like I'm being kind of sweet while I'm stepping on it, I maybe am. So I just want to be full and disclose with you guys at all times. And that's that. That's Friday. You guys, it's holiday season in Japan right now. I'm going to enjoy time with my son. A couple things need to go out that will be going out. The person that won today, you'll be going out sooner than the people that have been waiting for about a month because my life is back and lined up. You guys have a great weekend. Stay hydrated. If you where you live is anything like where I live, which is Japan, this place is an absolute oven. When you think about Japan, you think about Mount Fuji, people in geisha, which, by the way, geisha girls, actual real ones, you'll maybe never see in your life unless you go to Kyoto, and a lot of people that live and die and never leave this island, Japan, never actually see a geisha in their entire lives. So that might be something you imagine. Sushi, I imagine sushi. The best sushi I've ever tasted in Japan comes from a supermarket in Kuga. Not a restaurant, not the expensive restaurant, from a supermarket because of their connection with a local fisherman or something. I've taken pictures of it and showed it online. So you think about sushi, you think about geisha, you think about anime and cosplay, Godzilla. What I'm pointing out is what you don't hear about is the absolute brutal oven that is the summer in Japan. Southeast Asia is kind of famous for it. Japan has just a combination because of the winds coming from a certain direction at a certain time around this time of year. This place gets absolutely ridiculous. The pavement in front of where I am right now with a infrared radar which can check the temperature of the street is 155 Fahrenheit. 155, so you're standing on that and it melts the soles of my shoes. Now I'm rambling, but stay hydrated, man. It's hot outside. But enjoy yourselves. And I am now out.